Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the last episode or the latest episode of the 10-gallon series. So what I've been seeing a lot lately is tank crashes due to heater failures. The worst case scenario of a tank crash, because what happens is that your heater gets stuck on the on mode and it just continues to heat up your water until you find it, right? Or until you come home and basically you just find a fish soup. So in my tank I have the Apex. It has a temperature probe and it controls the temperature. It's not 100% accurate, and people recommend, and Apex themselves recommend you to not hook up a heater just directly to the power bar. I don't know, for some reason they told you not to. So what I did is I bought a temperature controller from BRS. So what we were thinking is that in this 10-gallon, now that we have all this coral in there, that's like, it's looking really good. I mean, besides the fish, which the fish, by the way, there's no fish in here because we put some fish in there. They ended up getting sick. They had some velvet, so we put in a quarantine system and I treated them. So if you're interested in watching that, just click on the link that I'm gonna put in this video. After the quarantine period is done, we're gonna put the fish back in here, but for now it's fishless. Either way, the tank's doing really good. What I'm doing now is dosing some amino acids from Brightwell just to kind of keep the fish, the coral happy and just fed. So since this tank is doing really good, the last thing that we want is to one day come home and find out that the heater failed, all the coral in there died, especially because we have some expensive coral in this tank from my system that you don't want to lose just because we decided to be cheap about our heater choice. So we went ahead and we bought a second BRS temperature controller, and it is the weekend and we're about to go out, but Liz ended up getting the Inkbird one, but this just goes to show how similar it is. It's basically the same thing. The only reason why I got the one from Bulk Reef Supply is because I was getting reagents and stuff like that I needed for my tank. So it just seemed logical to just buy the controller from them too. So I think the Inkbird is $35 or $40. It's basically like a $10 or $15 difference from the BRS. All you're getting really from BRS is just like a peace of mind that it's Bulk Reef Supply. Like, I've had issues with the stuff that I got shipped from Bulk Reef before, and all it took for me to fix that was give them a call and they send me a replacement or whatever it was. That's one of the most important components of your reef tank, the temperature, because if it goes below, say, like 72, then that's really bad. Your fish could get sick. But if the heater gets stuck on the on position and the temperature rises above 85 degrees, then everything's pretty much gonna die in your tank. All right, so this temperature controller is very easy to set up. Now that we're actually unboxing this controller, I'm noticing that the on the outlets right here, on these outlets, one of them is a cooling and one of them is for heating. That's the only difference between this one and the BRS, because the one from BRS is only for heating. So basically you're controlling two heaters. But this is really, this is good too, because for the summer, if we have any problems of this tank getting a little overheated, then you could easily just hook up a fan to this and just blow some air on the top of your tank and then control the temperature in that way too. So that's actually pretty cool. Setting this thing up is actually super easy. The instructions are really clear. I just installed mine a couple weeks ago and it took me like 2 minutes to install. The one thing that I want to tell you guys is that is to not crank up your heater above like all the way up. Just leave it at the temperature that you want your tank to be at. Like, put that setting on there and also match that temperature on your controller, because in case, say that at some point your temperature controller were to fail on the on position, then at least you'll have your heater kind of like staying on there, and the likelihood of them both failing at the same time is very minor. Try to keep those things in check, and this will really save you from a headache, especially in a tank like this. If you have a tank like this one in your office or somewhere where you're not there 24/7, because if one day you come to your office or whatever, you have this super easy tank and everything's dead, then guess what? You're gonna have to doing crazy water changes. You're gonna have to pull out everything that's dead, and that's a lot of maintenance. So then you just went from, you saved up like say $50 that this thing cost, when I have to buy all your livestock all over, and it's annoying as hell, and it's also sad if you actually love your pets. So fresh, black. So I'm gonna show you how to set this up. The first thing I'm gonna do is change the units from Celsius to Fahrenheit. To do that, you press the set button, you hold it down until it starts blinking. Alright, and then you press the set button again until you're at CF. Alright, so that's CF, and then you press up, and then once you're at the setting that you want, then you hold setting, then you hold set again, and then now we're back and we're at 78.5. This is gonna be the set temperature at the bottom, and the top temperature is gonna be the actual temperature of the tank. Once again, we're gonna set up. We're gonna press the set button again, hold it just till it starts blinking, and then we're at TS. So TS is gonna be the temperature that you want. And me, I like running my tanks at 78, but in this tank, that's a little smaller. I think I want to leave it at 77. If you want to run 78, you know, that's your preference. But all my other tanks, I run them at 78. My main display tank, I run it at like 79. But on that one, I have a little more control of overheating. Like if you have a hot day and you're already at 78 or 79 on a small tank like this, and then you know, the temperature gets up to say like 85 degrees, then today's tank is gonna get hotter much quicker. So I set the temperature a little lower. The temperature of the tank right now is 78.5. I don't think that's accurate, so what we're gonna do also is calibrate. So now we're gonna press setting again to calibrate the temperature, and we're gonna go to CA. Alright, so CA. So on this case right now, what we're gonna do is say minus or plus what our temperature reading is. So what I want to do here is match this temperature to the temperature on my thermometer. Look, I'm gonna move my thermometer right there. You see it? Okay, so it's kind of hard to see, but the thermometer right now is reading about 77.5 on the thermometer. So what I want to do is match this temperature, this reading, to my thermometer. And basically you press setting again, set, just hold it, and then go to CA. And then we're gonna minus, we're gonna say minus 1 degree Fahrenheit so that it can match our temperature. So then we minus 1 and then set, hold the setting button, have the set button again, and there you go, 77.5. So now that matches the temperature to the thermometer. Now we have the temperature set and it's calibrated. So now what we're gonna do is set the heating differential value. So the heating differential value is gonna be the temperature that it has to go below, that the tank has to go below the set temperature for the heater to actually come on. So basically, like if you set temperatures at 77, then if you set your heating differential value to 1 degree, then your temperature has to drop. This temperature has to drop to 76 for the heater to come on, and then once it goes to 77, then it'll turn off. We're gonna set that up, and I usually on these controllers I go as low as I can. So for heat differential temperature, the lowest you could go on this controller is 1 degree. So we just go to 1 degree and then set the temperature. So now on this one, if you have this controller that has the cooling and heating outlet, you could set up your cooling differential value to that's this one to 3 degrees. You could go a lot higher, but also on this one I'll set 2 degrees. So that means that if your temperature ever goes to 79, then my fan will kick on if you have a fan or you have a chiller. I would say 2 degrees for this one is fine. Remember that your setting is not gonna be saved unless you hold the set button again. So once you're at the setting, you hold it again, and then it sends you back to the screen, to the main screen. Alright, so the third one that we're gonna do is the alarm. So the alarm, okay, let's do this for the alarm. So hold it again, press it, and then we are alarm high. So basically the higher that we're gonna be, the alarm that we're gonna put here is gonna be, I'm gonna set it at 80. If you hold down the button, it goes much faster. I'm gonna set 80. 80, I think 80. I think 81. No, 80 is fine. Because if you set it up at 80, I think it'll let me know with time that this tank could be overheating, and then it'll give me some time to do something about it. Either way, the fan is gonna kick in at 79, so the fan should prevent this tank from completely overheating. So you know, just in case for whatever reason the fan is not working or whatever it is, then you know this alarm will come on. for the cooling value, for the cooling alarm value, we're gonna go to cooling, no, there, alarm low. So for alarm low, we're gonna set it up at 75. Alright, for the low alarm, I'm gonna put 75, and I'm basically just gonna let you know if your heater is not working, or maybe the relays inside this thing stop working. The compressor delay, you don't need to mess with that. Let's see if it's set as something. That's basically if you have a chiller. Let's go to that and set it at 0. Compressor delay is PT. That one is set at 0. Okay, so that will basically be if you have a chiller. You don't want your chiller to be turning on and off constantly. You want to give it some time to be off before it turns back on. So that's what it is. If you have a chiller, just read the recommendations on it to see how much delay you have to set. But if you have a fan, then just set it at 0 and you'll be fine. So all there is to do now is just connect your fan and your heater to these two, and you're good to go. Once again, guys, Inkbird or the one from BRS is really worth the investment. Buy it as soon as you have the money to buy one of these. Buy it. Yeah, thanks for watching. So I'll see you guys in the next video.